Well, Vince McMahon is in charge after all. I'm D-Wicket and these are the 10 shocking recent moments that heavily embarrassed the WWE, and guess what? Every single decision on this list that was an actual booking decision was by Vince McMahon. Who could have guessed? What's your favorite embarrassing Vince moment? Mine's the Kiss My Ass Club, but let us know in the comments down below with the hashtag DW. God, I hate that, man. Flair took on Becky Lynch in a match that I only remember for one reason, and that one reason is unfortunately the limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing. Well, I guess we can end it there actually, as when distracting Becky so Charlotte could take advantage, the 66, remember that, 66-year-old man took his chance and actually kissed Becky Lynch. The backlash wasn't too severe, but like, dude, poor Becky Lynch. Who in the fuck would want to make out with a 66-year-old Ric Flair?
Oh, no. What? Are you kidding?
Number 9, Stephanie's piss stain. A common complaint you'll hear all the time online is that Stephanie McMahon is a bad villain because she's typically bashing her own roster, usually the men, and very rarely gets her comeuppance. While Ronda Rousey certainly put her in her place this year, back in 2014 it seemed like Steph herself was her own worst nightmare. After being assaulted by Brie Bella, Steph escorted herself to the back, but she wasn't exactly alone. She did have a massive piss stain running down the back of her dress, which is the exact image of classiness you'd expect from the chief brand officer of the WWE. Number 8, farting Natalya. Jesus Christ. Yes, Vince McMahon thought Natalya going up to someone backstage and just farting was funny. You know who thinks this is funny? The people that make fun of wrestling and use shit like this to justify why it has no true entertainment value. And you know what? It's really hard to justify professional wrestling when Natalya is being told to go to the ring and fart on everyone. This one genuinely does just boil down to Vince McMahon.
Is when I get nervous, I talk too much. What were you going to say?
Nothing at all.
That was Tyson.
Number 7, exploiting Paul Bearer's death. William Moody, better known as Paul Bearer within the WWE, was the longtime manager of The Undertaker as well as Kane, and unfortunately passed away back in 2013. Paul Heyman dressed up as Bearer to taunt The Undertaker. CM Punk stole Bearer's legendary urn and played with it, actually dropping it once in a backstage segment, and even poured out the contents over Taker's body. Like, imagine being The Undertaker. Imagine how awful The Undertaker must have felt during that segment. Like, this is the dude that you've worked with for, what, 2 decades now? And he's just being poured all over you. Obviously, those aren't his real ashes, but still.
It's Punk. It is. Punk. CM Punk. That's CM Punk. Punk disguised. He was disguised as a Druid ambushing Undertaker. It's over with. I did this to you. I did this to you.
Number 6, The Old Day. Simply put, this might be the worst television segment I have ever forced myself to watch. I legitimately can't stand to talk about this segment anymore. It can go fuck itself, and so can Vince for greenlighting it.
Well, at Clash of Champions, you guys beat the PP out of us.
No! You know what, Kofi, you're right. So instead, let's just get in the ring and beat up the bald guys. Cool.
New Day unloading on the old day. Forget the retirement home. They need a nursing home.
Number 5, suffering succotash. Roman Reigns is hardly in the position he's in nowadays because of his character work. While the wrestler himself has actually managed to find his place in the world of pro wrestling, his promo skills back in 2014 honestly might have been his biggest hindrance. Actually, it definitely was his biggest hindrance. Everything about it screamed both forced and scripted, which are two of the worst things you can be when WWE is trying to portray you as their bright new babyface hero. Roman's face run never ever properly took off, and maybe, just maybe, it's because of lines like this one.
You are a sniveling little suck-up sellout full of suffering succotash, son!
Number 4, using REID FLAIR's death. Well, shouldn't be too surprised about this one considering what WWE did with Paul Bearer's death, but that's hardly an excuse for this awful moment. This segment where Paige simply just states, well, your little baby brother didn't have much fight in him, about Charlotte's brother who died 2 years earlier, that is not only awful, it's inexcusable. Trying to take a pathetic feud and make it lukewarm by bringing up one of the wrestler's legitimately dead siblings is literally never going to work out how you want it to, so please, WWE, stop doing it.
When my little brother passed away, you were there for me.
You know what, Charlotte? You're wrong, sweetheart. Because your little baby brother, he didn't have much fight in him, did he?
Oh, come on.
Number 3, the never-ending Roman Reigns experiment. If there has ever been a statement against WWE's ignorance to the fans and stubbornness to making something that's broken work, it's Roman Reigns. Ever since the latter half of 2014, WWE's fan base has been very well aware of what Vince McMahon and company had in plans for the former Shield member and have pretty much never been on board with it. The 2015 Royal Rumble crowd takeover in Philadelphia is just about the best representation we can give for how Roman Reigns has been perceived by WWE's fans. Forced and scripted. WWE's embarrassing catalog of the last 4 years is so bad that it's beginning to overlap, and if I continue on about the Reigns experiment, I just might explode.
Oh boy! Oh baby! Never eliminated!
Number 2, This Is Your Life, Bayley. Alexa Bliss and Bayley are two of Monday Night Raw's best, so it genuinely pains me to see both of them in one of the worst segments of the entire goddamn year, decade, ever. Just wait for that list. Alexa's This Is Your Life parody to Bayley saw pretty much the exact opposite effect of what Mankind saw to The Rock. While fully innocently brought back people from Rocky's past to try and have fun, Alexa purposefully tried to poke fun at Bayley's past, and all it did was bring both of them down a step, or 17.
And Alexa Bliss came out here and humiliated Bayley in front of the entire WWE Universe. Yeah, Alexa Bliss honestly deserves this.
Honorable mention goes out to Seth Rollins' penis. WWE didn't book it, but that didn't stop the little bastard from making waves through social media back in 2015. The same year that Rollins won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. If that isn't good timing, I might not know what is, honestly. And number 1, Alberto Del Rio's encounter with production. And of course, we end this list with some racism. Did you know that Alberto Del Rio was once fired from the WWE for standing up for himself after a racist joke was sent his way? I honestly couldn't make this up if I tried. After a social media manager made a joke about Del Rio getting his food for him, you know, because Mexican, Del Rio retaliated by taking offense and slapping the backstage worker. Both men were fired within the month, but only one of them was fired for the controversy, and spoiler alert, it wasn't the racist social media manager.
Right away, I mean, he said it, I got up and I demanded an apology from that guy, and instead of giving me an apology, he smiled at me. That's the reason I smacked him.
And that's the list. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below alongside the comment question of the day with the hashtag DW. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so that succotash never suffers again.